third in the New York Times Siena poll, President Biden trails you-know-who in 5 of the 6 key battleground states. Meanwhile, some prominent Democrats are questioning whether President Biden is the best candidate. Let's take a look.
This is a race about democracy and the state of our democracy and the survival of our democracy. And that's the threat on the other side here. And I know how deeply the president feels about that. So he just has to ask himself, is this the best path? I suspect that he will say yes. But time is fleeting here, and this is probably the last moment for him to do that check. And it's probably good if he does.
Well, you know how I feel about polls, because I just feel like, you're polling 4,000 people in a place, and you can't tell me that's half the nation. All you can tell me is that, we polled 4,000 people, and that's how they felt. Mm-hmm. So I always like to make sure that we're clear.
Yes, it is actually embarrassing to see how someone like this can be saying this. It is insane. These are your responsibility to know some things like this. You will tell me on live TV, you don't even understand the Electoral College. You thought it was a school politicians attend. Sometimes when I look at TheView, and the kind of audience they put up here, it is to clearly tell you one thing. They don't even know what they're doing. Why? They always buy Trump because they don't have real talks, to face. When you are still in high school, these are basic things you need to learn.
Washington correspondent John Carl. John, in addition to our poll, New York Times has a poll out this morning showing that Donald Trump is leading in 5 out of the 6 big battleground states. Now, presidents have come back in the past, Ronald Reagan, Barack Obama, but this is tough news for Joe Biden.
Look, this is a wake-up call. This is frightening for not just the Biden White House, not just for Democrats, but for anybody who fears what a return to a Trump presidency would mean. He can win. The New York Times poll is not the first one to say this. He can win. It is early, and the biggest challenge for Biden is it's not just that people have suddenly fallen in love with the idea of Trump going back to the White House. They haven't. It's that only 23% of the country in our poll thinks the country is on the right track.
Voters don't seem too fazed by the fact that Donald Trump has been indicted so many times, but a conviction could make a difference.
Look, it really could. I mean, we'll see. But I mean, the idea of voting for somebody that's under investigation, even somebody who's been indicted, is one thing. Voting for a convicted felon is another thing entirely.
Donald Trump already planning for another term.
I mean, it's just incredible. I don't think that voters have come to terms with what he is talking about doing. He is talking about a campaign of revenge and retribution. There was a fascinating story that is consistent with my reporting in the Washington Post, talking about how he wants to go out and prosecute his political opponents, not just Democrats, but people that served him. John Kelly, his former chief of staff, Mattis, his former defense secretary, Bill Barr, his former attorney general. Are voters really ready to sign up for that? He's talking about invoking the Insurrection Act on day one, using American troops on the streets of U.S. cities, something he tried to do when he was president last time, but was stopped by his own people. This would be a very radical Trump presidency, much more so than even the first one.
All fueled by a big lie about the last campaign.
Yes, the panic these people are having pertaining to Trump, you can clearly see it here. They said this time will actually be different from what we previously saw years ago. Reason TheView is even panicking.
You don't shy away from politics. You follow politics closely, and you'll hit either side. What made you want to work that more into your humor in the last few years?
Well, honestly, because I just learned about it. When I went to SNL, okay, before SNL, like just New York, period, you guys are really smart about politics and stuff. Like, y'all really are on that. Like, California, we over there smoking weed. Swimming pools, suntanning. We ain't really into it, right? So when I got to SNL, there were so many things that I learned about that I didn't even know. Like, seriously, the Electoral College, I didn't know about that. I was just, I know you're gonna be mad when I say this. I did think it was a college. I thought...
You go to the Electoral College.
I thought that the people gotta go there before they become a politician.
Oh, I wish that
Listen, the people voting for Trump should go to college.
Exactly. So that's things like that to learn all that type of stuff. I feel like when I'm commentating and live tweeting and stuff, I am talking from y'all perspective because there's a lot of and listen to me very closely, politicians, because you know what's going on. There's a lot of people that don't understand what's going on. You guys, there's a group of us that don't go talk to the manager. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a group of us that'll be like, no, manager, come over here. This didn't taste good. But there's a lot of us that'll be like, I'm just not going to come back here no more. We need to start talking to the manager.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Pay attention. Only a third of this country is voting. Only a third of the country is voting. Only a third of the country is voting. Only a third of the country is voting.
Yes, ABC TheView has never been a place for smart and informed discussions about politics, and that certainly wasn't the case on Monday episode when Daily Show guest, host, and so-called comedian Leslie Jones openly admitted that before she joined Saturday Night Live in 2014, she seriously thought the Electoral College was a real place where politicians went to school. In 2014, Joan was 47 years old, and at this age, she could not still understand the meaning of Electoral College. It is insane. If someone like this at this age cannot still understand this, then I wonder what her children, can know. These are basic things you need to know. At the age of 47, you still don't know. Appearing on TheView to promote her new book, the cast helped obsequious praises on their guests, and you don't shy away from politics. You follow politics closely and you will hit either side. For consecutive co-host Alisa Farrar boasted, what makes you want to walk that more into your humor the past few years? According to Jones, she wasn't into politics before moving to New York, and that New Yorkers were really smart about politics and stuff compared to Californians. Well, honestly, because I just learned about it when I went to SNL. Okay, before SNL, just New York, period. You guys are really smart about politics and stuff. Like you all really are on that. Like California, we are over the smoking weed. Swimming pool, sun. We aren't really into it.